Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. Julian here for another Drops episode and Trending Down episode. I've been really enjoying making these this season. In past years, I used to just do drops, and obviously that was very contingent on your league size, and obviously it still is. But the fact that I'm making a trending down section now makes it a lot more fun. Lets me highlight some players who are struggling a little bit, but are definitely not drops yet. Now, before we get into it, guys, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you have been watching my content, definitely would appreciate if you do so. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, you can click the join button down below on YouTube, or in the link below, there is a link to my Patreon. If you join the Patreon, you get to unlock many things. First of all, you support the channel. Second of all, if you DM me, I will answer you right away as fast as I can. And other perks as well, like early access videos, which means when I upload a video, you get access to it right away instead of having to wait until it actually goes live. Let's jump right into it now, guys, and let's take a look at some forwards that are trending down. So as you can see here, guys, there are 3 Florida Panthers on this list. We've got Sam Reinhart, Carter Verhaeghe, and Sam Bennett, and I'm going to talk about each of those guys individually. I don't think they're drops just yet. But I did warn you guys in the very first week, actually before it began, that Sam Reinhart might have a difficult time this year without Alexander Barkov feeding him the puck. Barkov is a phenomenal passer and a phenomenal player, and without him on Reinhart's line, he actually has been struggling. He's only scored 4 points through 9 games, which is absolutely unlike him the past couple seasons. He looks a lot more like himself from previous seasons. Now, he usually is more of a second half player. He plays really, really well in the second half of the year. But still, we need Reinhart to do better. Am I dropping Reinhart in any league size? Absolutely not, because the potential is there and he definitely still couldn't go off at any point. But it's definitely looking like it'll be a bit of a rougher season for Reinhart this year. Before I get to the other Florida Panthers, I have Nazem Kadri here of the Calgary Flames. And the Flames can't get anything going offensively. Now, if you're in a super shallow league, like maybe 8 teams or less, and there's plenty of centers floating out there, which there are in quite a bit of these kinds of leagues, Nazem Kadri might actually be droppable, not because he's not going to do well, just because there's so many centers out there and Calgary isn't scoring right now. In most leagues, though, I'm holding on to Nazem Kadri. He's top line center and top power play. Like, the deployment is really, really good, and he's a really good player, and you have to imagine that Calgary figures it out at some point. Just right now, they haven't been able to score more than 2 goals since their first game of the season. It's really sad right now in Calgary, and hopefully they're able to turn that around. And then Carter Verhaeghe is doing even worse than Sam Reinhart. Through those 9 games, he's only scored 3 points compared to Reinhart's 4. That's not great, and even though he's currently on the top line with Reinhart, they've really been juggling those lines in Florida. And what worries me is that they never seem to put him on the top power play. They've been really blendering that top power play, putting everybody on it. Samoskevich is getting a shot, then Lundell got a shot. But it seems like Verhaeghe isn't getting a shot there, and that's really where he got a lot of points in past seasons. Without power play 1, his value isn't really that high. And unless they put him there soon, he might actually end up being a drop in weeks to come. Now, obviously, if you're in an ultra deep league, you're never going to drop him. You just got to hold him and pray that, good things start coming. But in shallower leagues, he might be trending to be a drop. Now, Sam Bennett is done even worse than Reinhart and Verhaeghe points-wise. He's only got 2 points through those 9 games, which really isn't good. He's played on the first and second line. I think right now they're trying him on the third line, but I wouldn't read too much into that. He's on the top power play, and I do think he's going to get going at some point. I really like Bennett, and I think he's actually a really good player. One thing that he has done well this year is give you a pretty safe floor. He's been shooting and he's been hitting, so he hasn't been absolutely atrocious on any given night. But yeah, those points have to start coming with him. And yeah, he is a natural center, so it's, you're probably growing impatient with him, but he's not that bad. And in a league that has hits and even face-off wins, he's not that atrocious, and I think he'll turn it around at some point. Finally, Evander Kane is somebody I'm growing impatient with. If you're in a deeper league, I'm still holding on to him, but the fact that he's no longer on the top power play is worrisome. He's not shooting or hitting that much. We're going to have to wait and see if he's able to bring those peripherals back up, because if he is, he definitely could still be valuable. But if he continues like this, guys, it's going to be rough holding him, and he may become a drop. For now, if you are in a deep league, you still can hold on to him though. But if you're in a super shallow league and for some reason you still have him, you can probably drop him. Jumping into defensemen and goalies now, first on the list is Dustin Wolf of the Calgary Flames. And Calgary has been so bad. Dustin Wolf has even gone as far as calling his team out. He's like, I can't generate offense. He's playing really well. There's no blame to really be put on Dustin Wolf. When your team can't score more than 2 goals on any given night, how is that his fault? You got to think at some point Calgary can figure it out offensively and Dustin Wolf starts getting some wins, but right now it's looking a little bit rough. During my preseason content, I had Dustin Wolf quite a bit lower than a lot of people had him. To me, Calgary was not that great of a team, and he was going to have to beat absolutely lights out like he was in his rookie season to kind of live up to that ADP that he was going at. And to me, that wasn't worth the risk. And you're kind of seeing why. Calgary just isn't a good team. But if you did draft him early, you're going to have to hold on to him and pray that things turn around. Next is Sam Montembeault of the Montreal Canadiens. He's 78% rostered, and I don't think he's a drop just yet, but it does look like Dobesh is kind of stealing the crease away from him. Now, do I think he's completely stolen the crease? No. There were some bad calls against Edmonton, and the power play really did allow them to come back in the game. I don't usually blame goalies for power play goals. Now, we're going to have to see going forward what the split is. It might be 50-50. It might be Dobesh getting a little bit more, but for now, hold on to Montembeault. I think he's still going to get quite a bit of starts down the stretch and could still end up being the starting goalie in a couple of weeks. Then we have Neil Pionk of the Winnipeg Jets, and he's been shooting and he's been blocking, which is good. But the hits have kind of dried up, which is a bit worrisome. He's only got 1 point through 7 games, which is also not great. But I mean, we didn't expect too much offense from him, given that he's not a power play 1 defenseman. But still, 1 point, we want more than that. And yeah, last game he actually did dish out 5 hits. So hopefully the hits start coming again, because that's one thing that he did really well last year. And if he can do that, I'm not too worried about him. He's just been a little bit disappointing to start the year. As far as Gustav Forsling, if you're in a really shallow league and there's some half-decent defensemen available on the waiver wire, I'd probably drop him. I've never been a big fan of him. He puts up some very mid-offensive stats and some mid-peripherals, which make him good enough and arguably a top 50 defenseman if all goes well for him, but he's definitely not an exciting one, and if there's somebody better out there, you can probably drop him. But hey, he's got as many points as Sam Reinhart through 9 games, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, if you're in a deep league, you have to hold on to him and hope that things start going a little bit better in Florida. And finally, Cam Fowler. Now, I was very harsh on Cam Fowler during my preseason content. Some people got upset about it. But look at the results so far. He's not putting up points, and he puts up 0 peripherals. And this is exactly what I was worried about in that preseason content. Those of you who drafted him probably have to hold him if you're in a deeper league, because I doubt there's really anybody better out there with power play 1 deployment. He still is getting that power play 1 deployment, but if he's not putting up points like he is right now, he's doing like absolutely nothing for your fantasy team. He'll shoot maybe once or twice a game, but that's really not enough. You need somebody with a bit more of a floor than that, so that way when they do nothing, they're not completely useless to you. Hopefully, things turn around a little bit in St. Louis and their power play gets a bit better. And finally, some outright drops. Now, Aaron Ekblad is the first one on this list, and I wouldn't drop him in every single league depth, but he definitely does not need to be owned in 84% of leagues. He was someone I was very low on in my preseason content, and he did start the season on the top power play, which was great, but now he's on PP2. His peripherals are okay. He might put up okay points, but really, he shouldn't be owning more than 50% of leagues. So those of you in deep leagues hanging on to Aaron Ekblad, drop him. I'm sure there's somebody else out there that's better on the waiver wire. Devon Taves is somebody else who's been really disappointing this year. I had him on a trending down video earlier this season because his peripherals have completely vanished and he's not putting up any points at all, and he's kept that up. That's really, really not good. Now, at some point, I'm sure his peripherals might come back and points might start coming a little bit more frequently. But right now, if you're in a shallower league especially, he's an easy drop. And if you're even in a mid-sized league, there might be somebody better out there than Devon Toews. Obviously, if you're in a super deep league, you got to hold him and pray that things get better. Andrei Svechnikov is somebody who I'm dropping in most leagues as well. Like I said in my preseason content, Rod Brind'Amour does not like the guy. For whatever reason, he gives him the worst deployment. And he did start the year on the top power play, which was good. And he did start in the top 6, but now he's no longer on that top power play unit, and he's on the 4th line. That is not good at all, guys. He's not getting a lot of minutes, and he's droppable in the majority of leagues at this point. Then Zachary Bolduc, despite him still getting top power play time, he's getting 4th line time, and he's averaging like 10 minutes of ice time per night. If you're in a super, super deep league, you can still hang on to him as long as he's on the top power play, but they may opt to put Demidov on that top power play sooner rather than later, so his value can completely drop off a cliff. So if there's somebody out there that you like a little bit better, you definitely could consider dropping Zach Bolduc. And finally, Marco Rossi of the Minnesota Wild. He started the season off on the top line with Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy. That's really, really good. Unfortunately, he's no longer there, and he's not on the top power play with those guys either. It's Joel Eriksson in both those spots. Joel Eriksson is way more valuable than Marco Rossi, and unless you're in an ultra deep league, you can probably drop Rossi at this point. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, drop a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.